Hello and welcome back to the online piano school. Today we're on lesson 3 and it's a new piece of music. It's 2 pages long. Quite proud of this one, it's sounding good. And in fact today we're playing both hands. We're not just doing a right hand piece, we're not just doing a left hand piece, it's both hands together. So I just thought I should mention before we begin that I've created a checklist that will help you when you look at a brand new piece of music for the very first time. It's something that you can go through and just make sure you get in a habit of doing. You can find this on my website, robharveymusic.com, sign up to the school and you'll get a download link straight away. So you're probably wondering what this piece of music sounds like. Let's take a listen. It's epic, it's orchestral, and it's my sort of style. In fact, it's my brother who composed it, so make sure to go follow him. I've put a link in the description. Right then, onto the piece. What's different about this one compared to the last 2? Well, I've included some letters above some of the sections. We've got an A, we've got a B, and there's another A on the second page. We've got, what have we got? We've got flats everywhere, just pay attention for those. And we've got a time signature that we're not too familiar with. Our last 2 pieces were in 4/4. This one's in 3/4, meaning 3 beats in every bar. So we're counting to 3 every time. A little bit like a waltz. Then you can see that we've got actually 2 staves running parallel to one another. We've got the right hand treble clef and we've got the left hand in the bass clef. And both hands start in the same places as the other pieces did. So first piece was right hand, and it was just on middle C with our thumb, and make sure you've got fingers across the other notes. Our left hand was an octave lower, resting on C with our little finger, and that's where that hand is going. Now, when it comes to playing pieces both hands, you want to make sure that your fingers are stuck to the keys as much as possible unless they need to move. You do not need to move them at all in this piece, so keep them stuck to where they are, and you won't have to worry about them wandering off and then playing the wrong note later. Ideally, you should be able to play this piece of music without looking at your fingers whatsoever. Anyways, the big thing to watch out for, as I've mentioned, is the flats. So if our third fingers are resting on E currently, it would be a wise idea to make sure our third fingers are resting on E flat. So every time we come across an E, we're going to be playing E flats just because our fingers are already on those notes. So let's get to the right hand. What have we got? We've got C, D, E flat. Then we've got another bar, and that's E flat, F, G. Then we've got the notes in between, just going down. These are all really consecutive notes, so you don't have to think about it too much because of course we've got to put both hands together, and that is a step up from what we were doing last time. Now you might notice that there's some rectangles positioned in between the bars of notes. Those are full bar rests, which basically mean that the right hand doesn't have to play anything when there's a rest. So if you have a look at the start of a piece, we've got 1 bar of rest, then the 3 notes. 1 bar of rest, then the 3 notes. It's nice and even. Meanwhile, the left hand has got a dotted minim worth 3 beats. If you're not sure about note lengths, make sure you watch my video on that, link in the description. So it's worth 3 beats. The next bar has a note that's also worth 3 beats, and these are both Cs. There's actually a curvy line joining the 2. That's called a tie. So what does a tie do? Well, for example, if you had 2 pieces of rope, let's say they're 10 centimeters in length, and you tied them together, you now have a rope that's 20 centimeters in length. I mean, you wouldn't, but let's just imagine you would. Let's imagine that knot is nothing. It's the same thing with notes. If we have a 3-beat note tied to another 3-beat note, technically we're holding it for 6 beats, but make sure to count it as 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Just makes it easier when we get to each new bar. So the left hand is just repeating the entire piece of the same notes. We've got C, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, E flat, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, G, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, F, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So let's put both hands together. We've got the left hand for 3 beats. 1, 2, 3. The right hand joins in. 1, 2, 3. While the left hand continues to hold down that note. Don't lift it up just because the right hand's playing it. So let's play the first 4 bars. We've got C, 1, 2, 3, right hand, 2, 3, left hand, 2, 3, right hand, 2, 3. And if you're really confident with the notes, then you won't have to work them out too much. So make sure you've practiced hands separately first before putting hands together. Or you can just jump in hands together and you might actually find that it's not as difficult as it looks. So the next 4 bars, we've got a G in the left hand, same pattern, we're going to play it and hold it down while the right hand plays the next 3. G, 2, 3, F, E flat, D, F, 2, 3, F, E flat, D. Make sense? I'll play the whole line. This time, watch my eyes as I play this piece. I'm going to make sure that my fingers are stuck to the keys and I will not glance down whatsoever because I should be confident that my fingers are in the correct place. I'm almost visualizing the piano in my head. That way, I don't have a delay between looking at the music, looking at the piano, looking at the music, looking at the piano. Don't need that if I'm just looking at the music. 1, 2, 3. You see? And in fact, I was bobbing a little bit. You probably don't want to do this too much, but it gives you a good sort of sense of rhythm if you're just bobbing along with the beats. So let's move on. We've got line 2. Left hand's the same as line 1. The right hand has a slight change. Instead of having F, E flat, D in the second half of the line, we've got D, E flat, F. I'm not going to play it now, but just practice those 2 lines as a section because that's section A, and just work it up so it slowly gets up to speed. Right, 3rd line. So, section B we've moved on to. Left hand, again, the same. It's just repeating over and over. I don't want this to be something where you're having to look at the notes all the time. Just get confident with what the left hand notes are, then you'll never have to think about them again. In the right hand, we've got a combination of G's and C's. And they're playing crotchets continuously. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You can feel that waltz style to it because it's in 3/4. Now watch out for the last note at the end. It does change in that line. So here's how it goes. Again, not looking at my fingers, my hands haven't moved. Last note of that line, watch out for it. Second line of part B, i.e. bar 25. We've got the same thing again. But something changes. You can't assume that the notes are always going to be the same just because there's a pattern. Last bar changes, just purely C's. Anyways, onto the second page. Oh, it's gone. There we go, second page. And we've got another A at the top of that. What does that mean? It basically means a repeat. That section A that we had at the start, lines 1 and 2, are exactly the same as lines 5 and 6, which makes it very, very easy to learn. The only difference is we've got an extra 2 bars at the end, which is basically the outro. It just sort of finalises the piece. Now, this is a combination of tied notes, both hands, and multiple notes being played simultaneously by each hand. We're really stepping it up now. So, in the right hand, we've got notes that are a fifth apart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We start on a C, and we've got a little finger on a G. Again, our hand hasn't had to move the whole way through, so they should be already resting here. We've got a C and a G. In the left hand, same concept, C and a G. And all we're going to do is play them all at the same time, 4 notes. And they've got to hold down for 6 beats, and we're just going to count it like this. 1, 2, 3, 1. And that is, in reality, the whole piece of music. It's 120 BPM, much like the last 2, and it's just a nice, even pace to get used to playing both hands together. So I'll play it from the start to the end, just on my own, so you've got an idea of what it should sound like when you practice it yourself. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. that's it. That is it. So I just had a few thoughts as I was going through that. A couple of things I haven't mentioned is that if you've got an E flat and then in the next bar you've got an E flat and they're tied together much like in bar 3 in the left hand, that flat still persists through. So you're not going E flat and then to E, it's just E flat, just holding down the entire way. Was there something else I was going to mention? Oh yes, between lines and between bars, there is no gap. If you're hearing a gap between line to line, you need to practice the last few bars of one line into the next couple of bars at the start of the next line. There should be no reason for anyone to be able to distinguish where the bar lines are or where the lines end. It should just be continuously flowing through. So, I hope you enjoyed. I hope it all made sense. If anything is bugging you, if you've got any questions, please put a comment below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you want to see more of this, and visit my website to find the downloads for this, worksheets for any of the music theory that you might need to learn this stuff, and the link to join the school, the online school, so that you get your checklist for playing any piece of music for the first time. So, stay motivated, keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next one.